Hello there and welcome. It's Psychic Cynthia here. And happy new moon in Capricorn. Happy rebirth time. Each month we have the new moon, the time when the sun and the moon come together to help us all plant the seed and create a new beginning. And this month the new moon is taking place on Tuesday, January 12th in the Central and Pacific time zones in the USA. And for those of you who are in the Central time zone, that's going to be at 11 p.m. exactly. That's when the full moon is exact on Tuesday night. And again, I believe that is January 12th, 2021. And for those of you in the Pacific time zone, that would be 9 p.m. Now, if you're in the Eastern time zone, it's exactly midnight, making it technically Wednesday, January 13th, and then also for Europe, it's going to be technically on Wednesday, January 13th. In most places, it will be, or many places, it will be before the sun comes up. Not all, though. Probably not all. Depends on when the sun comes up where you're at. So Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, we have this time of monthly rebirth. Now, this is a special rebirth time. This is a special new moon. The new moon in January is always a little bit special because basically that new moon in January is the first new moon of the entire year, and it signifies the beginning of the lunar cycle, at least according to the Gregorian calendar. Now, in February, we have the second new moon of the year, which is technically the beginning of the Chinese lunar new year. But here we're talking Gregorian calendar, which many of us follow in the West. So happy rebirth, happy first new moon of the year, new moon in Capricorn. And this one is conjunct Pluto. So we'll talk a little bit about all of that. But basically, when this new moon in Capricorn is activated every year, this is when we really feel the push to actually set our resolutions or look at the resolutions and begin doing something about it. This is when you will feel like, I like to think of Capricorn as the inner executive. This is the part of you that takes charge and makes things happen. Not always in a loud kind of way. It's not the Aries executive. Aries also has executive powers as well, but Aries is more forward and out there and bold. This Capricorn part of you is sometimes operating in the background, a little bit quieter, less flashier, but definitely gets things done. In fact, Capricorn is one of the signs that gets more things done than probably just about anyone else in the zodiac, except for Virgo. They have to have the help of Virgo, right, to get things done. You got to have your organizers, right, your efficiency people. So we all have Capricorn somewhere in our chart, even if you don't have any planets in it or a sun sign or a moon sign. We all have somewhere in our chart where that Capricorn energy falls, and that will be activated. And if you have your chart, you can check it out and look at where that is. Listen, I can't do readings in the comments here because in order to do an astrology reading, I want to look at the whole chart, and that's what I do in a private reading. So connect up with me for that. If you want me to look at your chart, I'd be happy to read your chart privately and look at the full complexity of who you are astrologically. But in the meantime, you can look at your own chart. If you have a copy of that, it's easy to get one online. Lots of places, give free charts. So just type in free charts. I usually recommend astro.com. And no, I don't get any kickbacks for that. That's the place I would go if I didn't have astrology software or if my software was down for some reason. I think their charts are pretty accurate there, actually. So it's a good place, but there's other good places online where you can get your chart if you don't have it. But this is your monthly rebirth where your inner executive will be activated. And this is the part of you, too, that is more ambitious, especially with the moon conjuncting Pluto at the time of this exact activation. And Pluto is one of the energies that it represents is our willpower. That will to live, that will to transform. It is the principle of transformation. So if you haven't felt particularly motivated to make resolutions, or maybe you made some but you haven't gotten going on them yet, it's like maybe the steam hasn't been quite there yet, or just the sense of inner organization, you haven't got it, get up and go yet. I think that you will see that returning. I think you'll see your ambition strengthening and your resolve. Resolve is a good word here. That will be strengthening after this new moon on Tuesday. You will definitely have support from the universal forces to begin carrying out a plan. So if you haven't already, it's time to start writing the plan and actually looking at your goals and resolutions, or writing them if you haven't already. Right around the time of this new moon would be a very worthy endeavor indeed. And I know not everybody does resolutions, by the way. It's okay if you don't. I think personally it's more effective to do, if you're going to work in the realm of goals, to work in quarters at least, rather than just at the beginning of the year. But then there's something to be said for setting that, I like to think of it as the year focus. I mean, I used to set tons of resolutions and achieve some of them and not achieve a lot of them, frankly. Over the years, I've found that if I just sort of set a focus for the year, that helps to guide me. But I'm more process-orientated than goal-orientated at this point in time. And what I mean by that is like some of the quote-unquote goals that I set, again, they're more, directions or focuses. So I might say, like a couple years ago, I said, I'm going to focus on the ruins. Maybe that's 3 years ago, but I said, I'm going to focus on the ruins. And I really didn't set exact, year goals around it. I maybe set a month goal. But then before I know it, it's launched a whole new aspect of my career. So that works for me. If you're not a big resolution setter, try that. Just pick a focus for the year ahead. And do pick a focus on the material level, realm, or in other words, something you can actually do tangibly, even though maybe the runes doesn't seem, like a very material. It doesn't have to be materialistic. It just needs to be something tangible, okay? Because your inner Capricorn will want that. This shift with this new moon is activating in the month ahead, that part of you that wants to get ahead, that part of you that really wants to grow, to push out beyond your limitations. Capricorn is a very interesting sign because it is both the sign of limitations and the sign of pushing out and extending beyond the limitations. And then, of course, in Aquarius, the next sign, we really throw off the shackles. But they really kind of work together to free us. But with this Capricorn energies, and you want to think about, too, if you haven't watched my video forecast for this week ahead, check that out. I'll try to remember to put a link underneath in the description here. But one of the things that is also happening at the same time as this new moon is that we're having, maybe not right at the precise same time, okay, but in the same week, let's say, and certainly in the same month, but definitely in the same week as well. We're having a lot of activations with Mars and Uranus in Taurus getting squares, receiving square energy from Saturn, Jupiter, and Mercury in Aquarius. So it's that Aquarius, Taurus conflict, it's not a standoff. It's a little bit of a skirmish. There's tension. It's like they're stumbling into each other and they don't quite know how to do the dance together. And what that set of energies is demanding from us, basically, it's saying, hey, we want to be more free, right? We want to live freer lives, free from drudgery, and also freer to be our higher selves. That's what both Capricorn and Aquarius have a connection with, is the higher self, the wise self, the deep, deep wisdom within. And how do we live that fullest life possible? How do we live that life of our dreams? And not just in a materialistic level, not at all. I mean, yes, Capricorn does care about that, okay? Capricorn's like, yes, I want some money so I can be comfortable and make influence in society. That's just part of the Capricorn energies. Or yes, we need food to eat. That's part of the Taurus energies. So we have to balance that with our higher ideals in this week ahead and in this month ahead, really, and in this lunar month ahead. Basically, it's especially important from the time of this new moon, the January new moon of January 12th, 13th, 2021, to the next new moon, which I believe is, I'd have to look it up. I think it's February 13th, right around there, February 12th, February 13th. So we're really being called to put in the hard work, or just the work, let's just say. It doesn't have to always be hard, but it can be. We're being called to put in the work, the effort, to create routines, to create practices, to create daily practices that will build, to use a Taurus word, that will build the peace, the abundance, the happiness that we want, the higher consciousness. You know, whatever it is that you want to create in your life, in the year ahead, in the month ahead, even in the week ahead, you know, what this combination of energies is saying with Capricorn New Moon and then the Uranus, Mars in Taurus squaring all these other planets, this is saying, hey, you have to be willing to put in the work. You have to be disciplined. That's Capricorn, okay? So it's asking you to get organized, to get disciplined about your goals, your focus, maybe to choose a higher focus. That's the Aquarian energy. It says, hey, pay attention to your higher focus. By the way, your higher dreams, they are worth giving some of your time and energy to. Your creative dreams. You know, don't just think about your material dreams in the month ahead. Do think about that, because I think with the earth energy here, you know, we have to balance that. And it's true. I mean, if we don't have food to eat, if we don't have a roof over our heads, it becomes more difficult to meditate comfortably, right? I mean, I'm just being practical here. So, you know, you want to balance that all out, but remember what makes life worth living. I mean, remember, if your goals are centering around getting a better job, or even getting a relationship, or more money, or a new home, that's fine. And I think these kinds of goals are really supported by the energies right now. Or maybe, you know, strengthening your body, losing weight, becoming more healthy. If these are goals for you. For some of you, it may be gaining weight if you lost too much weight. I know we don't think about that often, but there are people who have that issue too. So whatever it is you're working with in your health, in your financial well-being, in your physical well-being, in your home life, you know, these very tangible things, your family life, these are good goals for the month ahead. But remember why you're doing that. Remember that there is a higher impetus here, that, you know, remember that there is something akin to love, akin to creativity, inspiration really driving you. You know, so get back in contact with that if you can in this month ahead. And, you know, in addition to having goals in the material realm or the more worldly focus, make sure you set aside some time to pursue your creative dreams, your more self-expressive dreams. And trust me, in doing that, you will draw to you more abundance, more health, more harmony in your relationships. It will just be easier. So don't just think about that. Think about it, but do it. Remember, your dreams are important. Your interests, your passions, they are important. They deserve some of your time, your air, so to speak. And another thing to think about with the Capricorn energy being impacted right now, think about Capricorn is, in one form, it is an empire builder, but it is also a legacy creator. So when your inner Capricorn is activated, you could focus on building your empire, which is kind of more of a self-serving thing, but hey, we all have to start somewhere. So you think about drawing in wealth, you know, for yourself, creating something larger, maybe for your family too, but certainly for your own empire, your own, you know, you manage your empire, in other words, or get people to manage it for you. Capricorns would do that too, right? They can delegate. But there's another aspect of Capricorn, which is the legacy builder. That's the higher vibration. And a legacy is different than an empire, because empire, you know, it's like what we have with our politicians now on all sides, you know, so many of them, not all perhaps, but many of them, you know, they seek the power for themselves, right? They seek power just for itself, power and wealth just for having it. But a legacy is a different idea. A legacy is that you're leaving behind something for others. I mean, planting a tree is a legacy, because most of us don't live to see those trees grow up to their fullest height. I mean, especially if it's something like an oak or a maple. That's to give you an idea. So think about that. Think about what you can leave behind for the people behind you. If you have children, for your children. If you have students, for your students. I mean, maybe it's not even for anybody you know right now, because it probably won't be, actually. So think about what the legacy is you want to leave behind, even the legacy of your energy that you're leaving behind. That's something to think about in the weeks ahead and to take action on for building your legacy. I know I am focusing on that in this month and the year ahead. I've been focused on that for a few years now. So don't think about just what feels good today and, you know, what just sounds good for now, but find things that sound good for today and for many years from now, for the people behind us and for the creatures behind us. On that note, I'm leaving you all many blessings for a most splendid new moon, and I'm off to play my handpan to attune more with the higher energies. Until next time, bright blessings.